This is Noise from the Cranium. My name is Doug, and in this episode I'm going to feature the first of a two-part interview with Vancouver drum legend Kat Hendricks. An icon on the local music scene, Kat played on hits by the Tom Northcott Trio, the Poppy Family, Terry Jacks, Heart, and later drummed in the smooth jazz band Skywalk. In addition to that, he played countless sessions and was the drummer on a song by the incredible bongo band called Apache, one of the most sampled songs in music history. Rob Frith and I spoke to Kat in Nardwar's Den, located in the basement of Neptune Records. Hendricks spoke at length about his life, his career in music, and how he is content to be retired now, with his 80th birthday just around the corner. Michael Kat Hendricks was born in Holland in 1945. His family immigrated to Canada, and after settling first in Belleville, Ontario, they made their way out to Vancouver when Kat was in his early teens. Hendricks was fortunate early on to take drum lessons with another future drum legend, Duras Maxwell.
Duras was the reason that I quit school in grade 8, because he quit school in grade 8, so I quit school in grade 8 to play drums. And anyway, they lived down the street and he was teaching me. And he had this double bass drum set up with toms and everything, really expensive, really nice. And he would just, he did everything that a drummer should do. And he was only 15 and I was 16, and I looked at that and I was like, so for years, he was the massive intimidator. Like I'd be playing really good and, and doing what I'm doing. And then I'd see him in the back of the hall and all of a sudden my hands and feet just went, just couldn't handle it.
Maxwell played with a number of local bands, but Kat recalls watching him on a regular basis with Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers.
They played at the Elegant Parlor, and it opens at 12:30 at night. Mm-hmm. Right, 12:30 to 4:30, because I played the gigs too. I played with those guys when Juris was sick or something like that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so that place, that was the Bible. That was the Bible. Mm-hmm. It was listening with Robbie King, Eddie Patterson. Mm-hmm. Those guys were like miles ahead of anything else coming out of Vancouver.
Kat remembers the seamy side of the nightclub back then.
And, I got to see all the pimps and hookers and all that stuff. I got, because it was a pimps and hookers club.
Yeah.
Right? And it was just, I was 21 and I was really naive. But no, the Elegant Parlor was the learning place for music when I was young. It was like, you go to hear Juris play every night and it's like, oh my God. I felt like when he played, the whole building just kind of started walking around.
Right.
Like he moved mountains with his playing. And that's I never learned to play that beautifully and that violently.
One of Kat's first bands was the Vancouver Playboys.
And then the Playboys hired me when I was 17 or something like that. And we traversed Canada over and over and over in two VW vans.
Wow.
Yeah. But, when you're 17, 18, like 8 to a room or 6 to a room, give it up,
This was before Tom Northcott replaced Ronnie Jordan as the singer.
Yeah, Ronnie Jordan, yeah. We went across Canada with Ronnie Jordan.
Huh.
And, when you're 16, 17, and what kind of memories do you have? One of the silliest memories I have is one hot night we were in Kamloops, and we couldn't get to the hotel or motel for whatever reason, so we all slept in the vans, right? The two Volkswagen vans, and this one was so crowded and so hot that I slipped out in the middle of the night and slept underneath the van. And when I woke up in the morning, the van was there. It was 12 feet away. It had slunk down slowly overnight over top of me.
The Vancouver Playboys were a stepping stone to Kat's greater ambition. They did another cross-Canada tour with Tom Northcott and released a single called She Loves Me, She Loves Me Not.
Come on, let me tell you about a wonderful game. Played 4 years and achieved great fame. It's achieved great fame, a game that'll never end. If you never played, you'd never live, my friend. It's called She Loves Me, She
lot of things like that happened, but it was my musical roots. As far as pop, rock and R&B, but I've been a jazz drummer or wannabe jazz drummer 90% of my life.
Right.
And I used a lot of those ambitions in my session work. Not a lot, but whatever I could get away with.
When the Playboys folded, Cat was recruited by Tom Northcott, who was forming a trio with bassist Rick Enns.
So that was around, I think I was around 20 or 21.
Right.
And we played hardly any gigs because I, of course, quit the band after 2 weeks or 2 months. Oh, yeah. I quit every band over and over and over, Skywalk included. Every band, after a while, it's like, I don't want to be,
Right.
I'm bored.
The trio opened for a fledgling Jefferson Airplane, and Cat remembers it well.
The fondest memory I have playing with the Tom Northcott Trio was we played, and it's at the Russian Community Center on 4th Avenue, and the theater there. And anyway, we played that gig, and we opened up for the Jefferson Airplane with their original singer Signe Anderson.
That's right.
And I played with Rick Enns.
Interestingly enough, the band were a little wary of the Airplane and didn't hang out with them.
We were scared of them.
Okay.
They were handing out acid.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, but I didn't take any that time. I didn't take it. So, but yeah, I know. Rick Enns and I took acid for a gig, and I forget whether it was Tom Northcott. It was a couple of years later.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember what the situation was, but we were playing at one of the arenas in UBC, and it was full of echoes. It was like, there was no soundproofing of any kind. It was like, and when you're stoned on acid, that really trips you out. And we played this gig, and I don't remember anything about the gig or who was there or who was not there, but I remember that we were stoned on acid, and we couldn't stop laughing.
He doesn't recall much else from his short time with Northcott, but he does remember this.
The only thing I remember about Tom is da, 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 da.
Oh, yeah.
What's it called? Just Don't.
Yeah.
Just Don't.
Huh? Did you play on any?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I played on Just Don't. I played on a bunch of other stuff too.
Uh-huh.
But Just Don't, when you listen to it nowadays, it's like, that's the first punk recording I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the feel, it's like, hang on.
Tell me anything.
I'm doing drum fills that were, they ended slightly ahead of the beat, and it gave it even more anger and toughness and stuff, So it's weird because, once again, it's on YouTube, and, it's just crazy that we came up with that.
Oh, yeah.
And Robin Spurgeon was a classic sort of recorder of those years. He recorded that, but I'm telling you, the drum sound and the attitude is like, whoa, man, that is punk squared.
Cat's time with Northcott was short, but it led to a better gig.
The best thing that happened to me musically and financially at the time was that I was invited to be part of the house band at Oil Can Harry's.
Oh, yeah.
And I played with Bob Buckley and Doug Edwards and people like that. And I played there for 2 years. Because in those days, if you had a gig, you had a steady gig.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't have to tear down and at the end of the night and shit like that. You just,
Yeah.
you just did it. So anyway, I played in a club band without the drums being mic'd, and to a place that held 200 or 300 people. And I played in that. It was either 6 nights a week or 7 nights a week.
Following the club gig at Oil Can Harry's, local band Papa Bear's Medicine Show were looking for a drummer and hired Cat.
Papa Bear's Medicine Show was after the club gig.
Yeah.
And I did that for a couple of years.
Papa Bear's did not release an official album at the time, but a bootleg came out in 1970 that is now worth a small fortune. Also, a live gig at the Retinal Circus on June 21st, 1968 was recorded for posterity. Here's Cat grooving out to The Reason Why. Around the same time, Hendrix played with the Poppy Family on the Let's Go TV show, playing a handful of radio hits from the day.
That's the price of love, the price of love that you pay with years and pain. The price of love, the price of love, costs you more when you're too plain.
I look like I was in my angry young man stage.
You had a tie on, I think.
Okay, well, maybe that's the reason why. Anyway, every shot of me is like, and I played good. I listened to it and go, wow, my meter and time was absolutely perfect. You know, I don't know if I was drugged up or whatever it was, but you know, I looked like hell. And this girl that I was seeing a couple of years ago, you know, she ran across it on YouTube one day. And she said, I saw this TV show and it looked like you, but that can't be you. Yep.
How many times did you play on Let's Go aside from just with the Poppy Family?
Not that much, because I like they used the house drummer for Let's Go was George Urson.
Okay.
And he was 38 and I was 21, 22. But and he was a good drummer, but he was of the older generation. So I put him out of work when I was about 24, 25.
Right.
Yeah. He went into retirement immediately. And that's when I started doing all the commercials with Griffiths Gibson, because he did the commercials for them too. But I was a combination rock, jazz, and whatever drummer, you know, and just like I am now.
Did he also play live with the Poppy Family?
No, but I did, you know. I'm proud to say I recorded "Which Way You Going, Billy," which is the first million seller out of Vancouver. So, you know.
You are my home, babe, my heart and my soul, babe. I'd have nothing to show, babe, if you should go away.
That was in 1969. Around the same time, he quit Papa Bear's Medicine Show and joined Spring.
And quit that, of course. And then because it was Bob Buckley, who was part of Spring, he and Terry Frewer hired me to play in Spring and record with them. And we recorded in Los Angeles and here.
When Led Zeppelin blew through Western Canada in 1969, both Papa Bear's Medicine Show and Spring opened up for them, and Cat was there on drums.
I played with Spring.
Yeah, but
On
you
that
remember
show.
playing? Oh, you would.
Oh yeah, I know. I played that show. But you know, what did Led Zeppelin mean to me? They were.
No.
It was just before they made it really, really big.
Right.
So you know, they were just another band. You know, I wasn't a fan, or I had no idea that you know John Bonham would be still talked about in this day and age. You know, so. But I have no idea. We played the show and it was fun and it was cool and you know.
In 1971, Spring performed with the Vancouver Symphony in a program called Son of Zonk. It was his first opportunity to play with the symphony and had its challenges.
But you know, I mean, the problem with the symphony and an aggressive drummer is they don't have aggressive time.
No.
You know, but
Back to tink, tink.
yeah. Ding, ding. The whole thing with symphonies and string players and legit players is the conductor goes like this, but the note doesn't come on the downbeat. Like this is a downbeat, but that's not where the orchestra starts. They go. Yeah. Well, that's what I end up playing. Da, da, da. You know, but it wasn't one of my favorite gigs because once again, you know, it's like to a drummer, you know, when all your life you've been taught that. like a metronome in my brain.
Yeah.
In 1971, Spring had a fairly big regional hit with a country boy named Willie, which made it to number 2 on the Vancouver charts.
Willie was a lover of the sunshine. Singing and a smiling was his way. They told him he could think his way to freedom, so he wasn't singing anymore. Oh, Willie, what you doing? Oh, Willie, don't you go. Oh, Willie, who you fooling? There ain't nothing about the city that a country boy named Willie should know.
We tried, but nothing much became of it because, the music business then was difficult too.
Yeah.
You got to please everybody and play the music you want to play.
Cat played on all the Spring records, but one of his favorites was As Feelings Go.
But seeing ain't just inside. We got a long way to go to catch the feeling. As feelings go to break the seal and let it flow.
Yeah, As Feelings Go is still one of my favorites.
Yeah, I
from
love
the
that
old
record.
days.
Yeah.
It's like I wish I could remix those tunes and give them more of a bigger pop sound.
In 1971, Skylark was getting together. Cat recalls their first album.
I did all the demos.
Oh, okay.
Skylark.
Skylark, yeah. Before, I did the demos, and and then they got the contract, recording contract. But I had just, my child was a year old, and this and that, and they wanted me to move down to LA to record the album, and I just had to go no, and Juris ended up doing it.
Right.
But I worked with David Foster a lot. We did a lot of commercials together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did some commercials that I don't know how much he paid, but I'd make like 25 grand in 1 year from one jingle.
Really?
And it's like, how did that happen? I see these residuals coming in month after month, and it's like, whoa.
Was that at LA or here?
No, out of here.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, no, Vancouver. The jingle capitals in those days was New York, LA, obviously, Dallas, Chicago, and Vancouver was on that list. And the Griffith Gibson Productions, they just did so much, And then there was other offshoots of that, Howie Vickers and stuff like that. But no, I worked with those guys from the ground up because Terry Frewer was the arranger, and Terry would hire me, right? And so, that was my workplace. Little Mountain Sound, as it used to be called, that was my workplace, and I worked with Bob Rock and all those people, Mike Fraser.
After the Poppy family broke up, Terry Jacks went solo and recorded his #1 seller, Seasons in the Sun, with Cat Hendricks on drums.
Did you play on Terry's big hit too?
Yeah. Seasons in the Sun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We had hot dogs in a bun. No, that's still the biggest selling single out of Canada ever.
Well, I think it's one of the top in the world. I think.
Yeah. It sold like 20 million copies
Yeah,
or
it was
something.
like huge.
Although Cat was only paid a session fee for that song, he did luck out in another way.
And I made $120. Who's going to complain? But the footnote on that is that he needed a tune for the Seasons in the Sun album, and we were recording the rest of the album, and he said, "Hey, Cat, you got any tunes lying around?" And I wrote. There's a piano at my house, and I wrote something, and he used it. Yeah. We recorded it the next day, and it paid for my first house.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 25 years old or 26. and I pretty well paid my house off in 2 years or something like that.
Join me for part 2 of the interview, where, among other things, Cat discusses playing on the first Heart album, joining and quitting the smooth jazz band Skywalk, and his contribution to Apache by the Incredible Bongo Band, one of the most sampled drum breaks in recorded history. I'd like to thank Cat Hendricks for taking the time to answer my questions, and to Rob Frith at Neptune Records for facilitating the interview. This has been Noise from the Cranium. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.
Don't go nowhere.